Hello, my little crafty monsters. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is fabulous. So, in today's fabulous tutorial, we are going to be making a Valentine's Day card mailbox. Now, not your traditional ones, and you might have seen some of these on Pinterest, some of you guys, but some of them are not really even telling you how they made them. So here today, we're going to show you how we made this little vending machine. How cute is this little vending machine? With your little buttons. Okay, they're all on dimensions, little buttons. Your little candies, your little money dispenser, your coin dispenser, and your coin return. This little push is originally where you would get your goodies, but obviously this is just a prop, so this doesn't open. It just stays closed. But anyway, how cute is this? On the top, it has a slot where you can go ahead and throw in the Valentine cards. Your kids, if you make one of these for one of your children for school, they could go ahead and put it at the edge of their desk, and they would have their classmates throw all of their little Valentine cards in the slot. And then when your child wants to retrieve it, okay, so the inside is ugly. I did not paint it. Y'all could get all pretty and paint it or put some DSP paper. Jesse didn't do that because most likely this is going to be used for one day only, and then they're going to probably toss it. I don't know. But anyway, we have some Velcro, and this is where you can go ahead and retrieve all of your little goodies that was in here. And so this opens and close, open, close. Okay, no, that's enough. Anyway, so this is the little vending machine that we're going to be making today, guys. Isn't this adorable? Like, seriously. I mean, and then afterwards, if he's going to throw it away or she's going to throw it away, they could just break this open and eat the candy, because the candy is still good too, you know. But this is what we're going to be making today. Definitely make one of these for decorations for somewhere in your home or for your office. If you guys work in an office, like, you know, with a lot of other people in an office, you might get Valentine cards. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe you should start the trend. Make some Valentine cards. We have a lot of videos out there before this one that actually is on Valentine cards. So look at one of those, make some Valentine cards, make one of these little bad boys, start passing them out, and see if anybody starts filling up your little bad boy with something, with that, right? With something in here. Anyway, but if you do it for one of your kids, this would be so cute. Could you imagine all the teachers and all the students would be like, they're going to wish that their parents made one of these. So you guys be that parent. Be that parent, boo-boo. Anyway, without wasting any more time, because this is kind of a long video, let's get down to business and make this little bad boy.
Hola, my little crafty monsters. So right here we're going to use an old shoebox, a gift box that we purchased from the 99-cent store, and we're just going to be using the lid of that. We're going to use these candies, the miniature candies, and some paint, because I feel that painting the box will be a lot easier than covering it with DSP paper. But before we cut it, we're going to go ahead and, before we paint it, we're going to go ahead and cut out the slots that we're going to need. And so I'm just going to get the box, the lid that we're going to use, and I'm just going to measure that. Even if you're making the hole exactly the size of this box, don't worry about it, because acetate's going to go first, and then the box is going to go glued on top of the acetate. So you could you could make the hole a little bit smaller, but I just did it to the measurement of the box. And then just make sure that you use a sharp razor blade so that's easier for your project. And that's what you just saw me do right now. We just changed the razor blade so it could be a lot sharper. So this is the window where all the candy is going to show. So that's why it's the biggest hole. And then in the bottom, we're going to go ahead and cut out that little compartment, supposedly, that you would retrieve your snacks from the vending machine. But this one is just going to look like you could push it open, but it's not really going to be anything. It's going to be glued all together. So we're just going to go ahead and cut out that little part. After we're done cutting this, we can go ahead and start to paint this. So these are the measurements. The box is basically 13 inches by 10, so it's 13 by 10. The small box is, give me 1 second. I'm gonna basically write everything down right here. So the small box is 7.5 by 5, and then the small cut is gonna be 4.25 inches by 2, and then that's gonna be that little compartment that's not gonna be opening. It's just gonna be closed. It's just gonna look like the little part that you could push to grab your guys' stuff. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut off these little tabs on the edges of these cardboard box because we want that back lid to fit smoothly behind the box, and you don't want it to really show. So right here, I'm just gonna cut all the little excess because the box is kind of old, so it's kind of a little bit wonky, but I'm gonna still cut the lid right to the size of the box. So I'm just cutting off all these little excess, but don't throw away none of these little stuff that you're cutting off. Sorry. So sorry. I don't know, I'm getting a little ahead of myself right here. So anyway, don't throw away any of these pieces because you will need them. We're gonna go ahead and use some of these to glue on the edges of the inside. This is so that for one, the lid won't go all the way inside the box, and for two, when you do have the box closed, none of the Valentines will slip out of either the bottom or the side. So it serves as two purposes. Right there you saw that I was just measuring to see if a real dollar would fit on the little dollar dispenser or the little dollar machine, but the dollar was too thick, so I'm gonna have to print out a little dollar that's skinny enough to look like, it's going into the machine. You guys will see a little bit. It's a little hard for me to explain, but I don't know what that little compartment is called. But anyway, right here, all we're gonna do is really just paint this little bad boy with black paint. I wanted it to be like the original vending machines, just all solid black. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So that's basically all we're gonna do here. Like, you guys could definitely use any type of box. I mean, you guys could purchase a box from either Walmart or the post office or Home Depot, any small box that you guys want to use as your little vending machine. Or if you have a shoebox, you guys could definitely use a shoebox like we're using here. However, because the shoe boxes have that little slick print in the front of the shoe boxes, I wouldn't recommend that you guys basically cover it with DSP paper, because some of the glues really won't hold the paper onto the box. So I really would recommend that you paint it, because it would be a lot easier to color. To color whatever color you want, and also to cover all of the print on the actual box. But I mean, the choice is really yours. I just went with painting it because it's a lot easier than covering it with DSP paper. But honestly, this is just an idea, so you guys do however you guys like. So once it's painted and dried, this is what it's going to look like. It's like a matte finish. And now we can go ahead and start making this little bad boy put together. So what I'm basically going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and measure that little box again, but I want to measure exactly so that I can see what size of an acetate I'm going to have to cut for the front. And right here, I'm just going to make sure that all of my little candies are going to fit, and then I'm going to hot glue them with a low temp glue gun. I don't want to use the really heavy duty industrial one that I have, because it's going to melt the chocolates. And even though it will melt the chocolates, by the time, you're done with the project, the glue would have cooled, and then the chocolates would have, got back to their normal consistency. But for the most part, I'm going to use a low temp glue gun, and then that's how I'm going to stick these little bad boys onto the actual cardboard. So right here, I'm just going to write the measurement of the acetate that I need to cut. And this is going to vary on the size of boxes you guys use. So if you don't have a box that's exactly like these measurements are really no good for you. But if you do have a box that's about 13 by 10, And then you do get a smaller box that's the same size, then these measurements will work. But anyway, for the most part, I went ahead and just put the measurements up here on the link so that you guys could definitely see the size that I cut them. But like I said, it really depends on the size of box you're making. So all we're doing here is just cutting the acetate, and then we're going to glue the acetate down where it's going to be, and this is going to be basically the window. So we're going to use some hot glue, and I know that this is that shrink-a-dink plastic that we use, and the reason why I use it is because it's a thicker plastic than any acetate that I have out there, well, that I have on hand. You just have to be careful because it's heat activated, obviously, so you don't want to put too much heat on there. But this is the way it looks with the little acetate in the front. And then we're going to go ahead and cut out some silver glitter paper for that little compartment. But right here we're going to go ahead and glue the little candies first so that these little bad boys could start to dry. So like I said, I'm using a low temp glue gun, and I'm just going to put a little strip. I don't want the chocolate to melt too much, and I'm not really too worried about the chocolates falling off. I think it'll hold on to them pretty good. But if you guys want them a little bit more secure, you guys should just definitely put some tape as well, and that'll hold it. Or you can make little shells so where the candies could just be loose in there and they wouldn't really move. Like basically kind of do a little compartments in that box, and in each compartment put one of the little candies in there. But for the most part, I didn't want to get too technical, so I just used this whole box. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the corners, and I'm not too really worried about putting too much glue onto the actual box because I'm going to put a strip in the back of this that's going to basically hold it together. And that's just for more security so that the box is not just holding onto the acetate, and there'd be a chance of that acetate basically coming off of that box. So that's another reason why I'm putting this strip. This strip is that strip that we cut off from this actual box. So that's why I was telling you guys, don't throw these strips away because you will be using them. And right here I'm just gluing it, and then I'm securing the edges, like the little tabs, onto the actual box from the little box, and that's just holding everything together. And that's just the way I did it. I mean, obviously, you know, if you guys cut the hole a little bit smaller than the box, you guys could just basically hot glue that whole entire rim of the box onto the, you know, onto the big shoebox. But because I made the hole exactly the size of the box, that's why I'm using these little strips. These little strips just basically to hold these in place, and also for security. So that's all we're doing right here, my little crafty monsters. I really hope that you guys try to make one of these little vending machines. I think these vending machines are the most cutest mailboxes I have seen out there. Seriously. Like, I think this is adorable. We're also going to be making another one for like a little boy or even a little girl. But it's going to be the old school Pac-Man arcade machine. So you guys definitely stay tuned for that video, because that video is going to be coming up in, I would say, about a few days to a week. We have a lot of videos that are going to be posted, so that's what I'm saying. Right here, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the slit for the top, and this is where basically you're going to have the opening for people to go ahead and put in your Valentine cards for your children's. And there really is no specific measurement. It's just really cutting it to whatever size you guys want. I did it a little bit thick, the opening, because I figured that if some of the kids were getting Valentine cards with candies, this would actually be enough for the Valentine card and the candy to fit through this little hole. So that's why I have it pretty big and pretty thick, because, you know, you never know. And so that's all we're really doing here. We're going to cover that cut with my little eyelash yarn that I always do. And we're also going to use that for the front of the vending machine, where you could see that little gold box where the candy is. So don't worry. it's going to be hiding. This is that little silver glitter paper that we're going to use in the bottom. And basically, we're going to cut that down to 5 inches by 2.5. And then we're going to glue that little bad boy to the back, completely glued all the way around so it's not going to open. You could use any kind of paper right here. I just decided to use glitter paper. I wanted something a little bit more sparkling and hey, you know. So right here I'm using these Sizzix alphabet dies. Excuse me. And we are going to spell out the word push. And then we're going to cut that out of black 65-pound construction paper or cardstock, whatever you guys want to call it. And then we're going to glue these little letters onto the front of that little gray or silver glitter panel that we're putting in the front. So that's all we're going to do right here. These little bad boys are fighting me. They're just not cooperating. But anyway, you just need to do one. So that's going to be easy. One small little word, and then that's it. We don't need our Sizzix machines again. So I'm going to glue it first so that I could go ahead and see where exactly I'm going to glue the little letters because I want them to be centered. So I felt that gluing this first, so in case I did it crooked or, you know, or a little too much on one side, I didn't want the letters to be off. So we're gluing that first, and then we're going to go ahead and place the letters where we're going to want them to be permanently homed. This is their home. So see, isn't that cute? I really felt like I was going to write it first, but then I thought, okay, well, black marker writing it by hand is not going to look very neat. So it clicked in my head. I was like, wait, Jesse, you have some alphabet dies. Just go ahead and cut them out because I think it'll look a lot easier. I mean, a lot better and a lot cleaner. So I'm glad I listened to myself because I really like how this looked. You guys could get creative and put, you know, any kind of little message right here in the front of this part, either love or push or, I mean, you know, whatever it is that you guys want to put. I mean, this is not a real vending machine, so you don't have to get too crazy about it. And then right here, we're going to go ahead and glue those little tabs. And these are basically like the door stopper so that the door does not go all the way in. But at the same time, when you have this door closed, there was a little gap like on the bottom part of the box and then on the side part of the box. And I was afraid that some of the Valentine cards would probably fall out, you know, when your children were probably holding it and, you know, walking home or whatever. So I thought maybe gluing this little panels to the sides right here will basically stop anything from falling out and then also stop the door from going all the way into the box. So it worked as, you know, as a double little whammy right there. You guys could also paint the inside of this box. I didn't paint anything. Seriously, my loves, I just left it like this. I mean, it's a homemade project, and for the most part, it's probably going to be thrown away after. So right here, we're just going to go ahead and cut out the little paper that we're going to use to make it look like the buttons. And so then we're also going to use this little frame board by We Are Memory Keepers because I'm going to do a little frame out of some DSP paper. So right here, I'm just going to cut the little strip. And then you guys are going to see that I basically stamp the numbers onto this little strip of paper. But then, honestly, to tell you the truth, guys, I really did not like the way it came out. So you guys will basically see me change it up a little towards the end. This is not the permanent little numbers that we're going to be, you know, that we're basically going to be using. I'm gonna actually change it up a little bit. So, I mean, if you guys want to just use the stamps just to make the buttons like this, because this is all you guys have offhand, then by all means. this is the little step that you guys are going to use. But if you want the buttons to look a little bit more realistic and a little bit more 3D-ish, then you should do it the way that I end up doing it at the end. The reason why is because when I first started stamping this and then I attached it to the actual machine, I did not like how it looked. These stamps, I purchased them at Michael's, and I believe they were in like the calendar section, but for some reason they were not stamping properly. Some of the areas in that circle were not grabbing the ink or just not making contact with the paper. So I'm not really sure what's going on here, but either way, I don't like it. That just goes to show you guys that even I will do something or make something and then I look at it and I'm like, what the heck is this? So right here, I'm trying so hard to make them look a little bit 3D-ish. I'm trying to make it look like a little shadow in the back, you know, it's like if these buttons are lifted, but it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's really not making it look better for me. So I'm trying to just continue going. Like I always say, my little crafty monsters, just keep going. You don't like it, just keep going. You'll end up liking the end result. Because for the most part, it really does happen like that. I mean, I make something, I don't like it, and then I just keep going and adding stuff, and then by the time I'm done with it, then I love it. So, like I said, right here, we're gonna just glue this little bad boy on this little strip. And then this is the eyelash yarn that I told you I was going to use. So we're going to go ahead and use this eyelash yarn to basically cover the that little seam where that little box in the inside and then, you know, the outer box are kind of meeting. And then you want to use a low temp glue gun for two reasons. Reason number one, because you're going to be using your fingers to be pushing this little yarn down. And then the other reason is because you don't want the glue to be too hot, because remember, you're using that shrink-a-dink plastic and that is heat activated. So if you put too much heat, then it's basically gonna kind of make that shrink-a-dink kind of wonky, because it's gonna look like it's gonna start to melt. So definitely use a low temp glue gun for this part. And then it's just to add a little interest in the front of that window. I mean, you don't have to use this. You guys have noticed I use this eyelash yarn on a lot of projects because I actually love it. I don't know why. I love the way it looks. So right here, we're going to basically use this little frame board by We Are Memory Keepers. And we're going to make the little frame that's going to go around that the button compartment of the vending machine, and we're going to do it out of this DSP paper. Now this little frame board is a must-have. Seriously, if you guys make frames, it's so freaking easy. It's just really punching the edges to the size that you want and then cutting out the middle part, and that's how you do a frame. This beats basically getting a you know, an X-Acto knife or something and trying to cut out that square in the middle. Seriously. It's a must-have, guys. So this is the little frame that we cut out with that board, and then we're just going to go ahead and glue it onto this little strip. And then afterwards, because I didn't want to just leave it like that, there was something that was missing on this board. Like seriously, like I couldn't figure it out. So then I started to add some bling. Like, you know, I said, okay, well, we'll just add some red bling that I purchased from the little Valentine section. And these little hearts and stuff. Well, you know, that's what I'm going to decorate with. But I'm talking about the button panel. These are the blings that I'm going to go ahead and use. And even when I put these on, seriously, I still didn't like it. I mean, I like the way the bling look, but I didn't like that number thing. So seriously, I'm going to change it up. You guys will like the end result because I actually liked how it ended up looking at the end. This is a part where you could add whatever you want. bling. I mean, little pearls, or you don't even have to add anything, really, to tell you the truth. You could just leave it with the little frame and the paper, and you could get like creative and use different color paper and combinations. I'm just trying to keep the regular pink and reds. And I do add a little bit of purple. What is it called? The little eyelash yarn on the top of the vending machine sign. But for the most part, I just kept it all reds and pinks. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted it to stay, you know, the traditional Valentine colors. Now, these are these little glitter hearts that we purchased at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use these on each corner just to give it a little interest. I mean, you have to have hearts on a Valentine mailbox. It's just a must. And then I love these little foam stickers, these little candies. They look like the candies. I really thought that this was actually going to give it like a little pop of color as well. And so that's what we're doing here. I'm sorry that my camera is not catching the whole entire frame, but this box is pretty big, so that's one of the reasons why. But all we're doing really is just gluing these little glittered hearts to the corners. And then those, the little candies, are stickers. So those you don't really have to glue them. Just peel the back and stick them wherever you want. I really think that these just added that little extra Valentine look to them. I mean, because whenever you think Valentine, everybody knows these candies. These are like the original candies. Remember when they used to put them in the boxes and you used to use that like a little Valentine to give to people? I mean, no, there's just so many different stuff. But anyway, so right here now, we're going to go ahead and put the eyelash yarn on the top of the opening where it's going to be so that people could put in your Valentines into the slots. And this is just basically to hide that seam of the cut, because I just don't like the way it looks just like that. So it kind of just gives it a little bit more of a disguise. And then it looks a little bit more neater. And that's the top part. So now what we're going to do is we're going to basically cut out a 1-inch little strip. The measurements are right here now. So just cut the little strip, and this is going to basically be the little dollar mechanism or whatever it's called. But anyway, it's just really easy. You're just basically going to use 2 little flaps that stick out, and then you hot glue them. I put a little tiny strip in the middle so that it's kind of like holding it. But so that paper is a 2x1, 2 inches by 1, a 2x1. That's the way it's called now, 2x1, guys. Oh my God, sorry, I cannot talk today for some reason. I don't know what's going on with me lately. I forgot how to speak. So those are just the 2 little slots that you put right there just together so it could look like that dollar opening. And we're going to print out some stuff. So we printed out $1, we printed out the vending machine sign, and all the little things that we're going to glue onto the front of the actual little dollar machine part. I'm calling it the dollar machine part, but we're going to just call it the dollar slot. So this is going to go into the dollar slot. If you guys don't have a printer, you guys could use like a Monopoly money, or you guys could get like those fake dollars from the Dollar Tree in the toy section. There's a lot of possibilities. Or you guys could basically just save the images on a flash drive and then take it to your local Staples or Office Depot and have them print out these. But if you do have a printer, then it'll be a lot easier for you guys. So these are just little signs and stuff that you normally see on that little money slot that I didn't want to write out by hand or try to stamp out. So I just said we're gonna go ahead and print these little bad boys out, and then we're gonna glue them onto the front of our actual vending machine. So that's basically all we're doing right here, boo-boo. So this is that little part where it tells you where to insert the dollar. It was a necessity for this. And then this is the little part where it tells you where the dollar goes. See? How cute is that? And then we're just gonna glue our little dollar to make it look like it's going into the machine. Pero mira que tan cute. Ah, oh, you just thought of everything. Yes. So now that we have that done, our next step is going to be to do the Velcro to the back of this box. And the Velcro is basically going to be able to hold down this, the lid, well, to keep the lid closed. These are self-adhesive Velcros, and these are some heavy duty ones that I purchased at Walmart. It comes in a long roll, and then you just cut the pieces on the way you need them. The adhesive on these are pretty strong, seriously. That's why I'm not really gluing it, or I'm not really too worried about them coming off. After you have the little Velcro here, then you're going to get some ribbon or something that you could go ahead and glue on there so that you can use that as a tab to pull to open and close your little lid or your little door, whatever you want to call it. But you definitely want to use something like Velcro button or some sort of a little closing mechanism so that the back part of this door is closed, and you don't have all these little Valentine cards flying all over the place. So I just put a little piece of strip of white paper just to reinforce that, because we will be using it. We're going to be pulling it to open and close, so we definitely need that. And so this is the way we're opening and closing. Now right here, we're just going to cut a little board to glue on the back of our sign, because this is going to go on the very top of our vending machine. Now, there was a lot of signs out there, some vending machine signs, but I just wanted this little traditional, simple one. I didn't want nothing too fancy. But this is the part where you guys could get really creative and really fancy with it. You could put like your child's name or like a little message or whatever it is that you guys want. I just wanted the traditional little vending machine sign. So once we have this glued onto the very top, we are going to put some of that little purple eyelash yarn, and that's gonna just give it that little extra something, because you don't want it to be just plain like that. So I'm just reinforcing the glue in the back, and then I'm gonna put a little piece of cardboard in the back to kind of hold it like a little backing. This is just so that the vending machine sign won't fold to the front or to the back. And then we're gonna just glue that eyelash yarn all around the sign, just to give it a little something. And then also too, because it's hiding that glue in the bottom where you glued the sign onto the actual vending machine. So this serves as that purpose. This is optional. You guys don't have to use eyelash yarn. You guys could use whatever you guys want. You guys could go a little bit more masculine if it's for a boy and put like some rope or some twine or something like that. Not that I don't think that this eyelash yarn could be for a guy either. I mean, it could, it's just a little sparkly. But, some of you might not have this offhand, or some of you might not like it. So that's why I say it's optional. I personally love it. And then we're just going to go ahead and glue these little hearts on the top of each corner, just to, give it a little extra something too. And we're almost done with our little machine, guys. So basically right here, guys, all we're going to do really is just repair that little button slot. Because like I said, I didn't really like how that looked. So we're gonna go ahead and, oh my God, Matthias. And so we're gonna go ahead and use some of these number stickers that we purchased at Michael's. And no, I purchased them at Hobby Lobby's. So I'm gonna use this little hole puncher to, the little circle punch, to cut out some little buttons out of some light pink paper, because I wanted the buttons to be pink. And so I'm going to cut another piece of paper that's going to go in the middle of this to cover those stamps. So that's basically what you see here. I'm just cutting another little white strip that I'm going to glue on top of that so you can't see the buttons. And then we're going to redo them on top of this. See? So we're just going to cover those little bad boys up. Nobody's really going to notice, guys. So you guys don't worry about it. And honestly, to tell you the truth, nobody will tell that you messed up and you're trying to do a cover up. So go ahead and glue that. And then we could start to recreate these little buttons again. I'm telling you, I didn't like it. But I think that this looked a lot better. Seriously, you guys definitely, I recommend this part. So you just hole punch these little circles, and then we're gonna go ahead, because they're the color already that I wanted, so you don't have to worry about anything. And then we're gonna go ahead and ink the edges just to give them more of a little dimension. And this is just so you know, so they have a little something more to them than just the solid, you know, plain color. So I'm doing that to all of the edges. This is optional. You guys don't have to do this, but this is optional. And go ahead and ink all of the edges for these little bad boys. And then after you got all of this done, go ahead and get your stickers. The stickers are a lot easier, but if you guys don't have the stickers and you guys want to just stamp the number in front of these little circles, by all means, they both work the same. I just wanted to use these clear stickers because I purchased them for this specific reason. So I just got these little clear ones and I put them on each center of each of these little buttons. And then after, we're going to put these on some foam squares so that they're a little bit raised like buttons. We're going to attach these to our little panel, our little number panel over there on the vending machine. And then after we do that, we're going to hit them with some glossy accents just to make them look like a plastic button. I mean, you're not going to be able to see it on the actual video, but I'm telling you guys right now that that just really is what gave it that button look, was the glossy accents at the end. I'm really glad that I used that. So, like I said, after you're done with the little numbers, put the little foam adhesive. You're going to have to cut them in half because those foams are a little too long. So you basically don't use that many of them anyway. So that's all we're doing here. And then after, when you get these done, then all you have to do is just basically attach these to the actual little number panel for our vending machine. And we are almost done, my little crafty monsters. I mean, this vending machine was really not that hard. It was a lot simple, a lot easier, I should say, than the actual heart mailbox that we made. The heart one, creating the box was not as easy, but then again, it was not really that hard either. So now just get your numbers and start attaching them where you want them. So that's how I want them to look. And see how they're a little bit raised because of that little foam square in the back? That just makes them look like buttons. Like, honestly, it just looks so much better. I really loved how this looked. So we're almost there, my little crafty monsters. We're almost there. We're just going to do this, throw on the glossy accents on the numbers, And then we're going to do the little coin slot and the little coin return out of some silver cardstock. And then we should be completely done. So these are the glossy accents. We're going to go ahead and just put it all over the button, literally all over, even on top of the sticker. That's really to seal the sticker in there as well. So just go ahead and seal everything, make it look glossy. That's what the glossy accents are for. Make it look like a plastic. That's basically what it is. And so it actually made it a little bit more like a dome-ish kind of look. So like I said, you can't really see it on camera, but it really made a world of a difference. This is what happens when Jesse does something and he doesn't like it. We just go in there and keep trying to fix it until I like it. So now we need our paper trimmer to cut this little silver cardstock that we purchased at Michael's. And it was that really silver. So, I mean, I thought that it was perfect to make it look like metal. So we're just going to cut a little strip. You don't need nothing big, you know, because the little coin slot and the little coin return are not really big parts of the vending machine. So it's just really cutting a square and then also cutting like a little rectangle sort of. And I'm going to use my little X-Acto knife by Fiskars. And we're going to go ahead and cut the little slot. Now this one I was trying to do it freehand, but I didn't really like it. So I ended up drawing it out. Literally, guys. It's better to just draw it out than to try to do it freehand. Because then you're going to come across what Jesse comes across. Sometimes it just does not look right. It doesn't have to be perfect. But, you know, for the most part, let's make it look a little bit neat. And so, right here, I'm just going to go ahead and make a little rectangle. And that's all we're doing here. Now I did cut the little slot a little bit thicker, but this is a pretend little, sorry about that. This is a little pretend vending machine, so it's not real. But anyway, that's just to give you kind of an idea that it's a little slot machine, and then the little coin return, you know. We all know what that is. Welcome back, my little crafty monsters. That's how easy it was to make this little bad boy. You guys saw, we just used a shoe, an old shoe box, another little gift box that we purchased from the 99-cent store. It's just the lid part. We glued the little bad boys in there, got some acetate in the front. That was easy, right guys? And then we just glued it all together. Well, after you painted it. I believe that painting it is a lot better than trying to cover this with DSP paper. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I think the paint was a good choice. So honestly, my recommendation to you guys, seriously, would be to paint your vending machines versus putting DSP paper. Now, if you guys want a silver machine, you guys could do a silver one. If you want a gold one, because you want, you know, to do the fancy, go ahead and do gold. But for my little vending machine, I wanted to keep it the traditional black like all the other vending machines. So definitely, this is how easy it was. I hope you guys are inspired to make one for yourselves, or make one for your child, or make one for whatever it is you want to make one for. And I hope you guys share with us on our Facebook. Definitely, we want to see what you guys come up with. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, as well as that notification button, because that notification will definitely let you know when I upload a video. And we're going to be uploading quite a bit of videos, so you guys don't want to fall behind on these Valentine videos, because these are going to give you guys some ideas. These are going to give you some, like, you know, all the stuff you guys need to get creative, some ideas and stuff. So that's it for now, my little crafty monsters. Bye.